for a minimum of 2 by 2 by 3 foot stone size dimension at the bottom, and stone voids between stones of no larger than a half an inch. Right now, if you go out there, there could be up to 2 inches. Again, that's allowing during high tides, tidal waters, to get in and start, moving around. That moves around backfill. That leads to stone displacement. So there's actually no facing. If you go out there, it looks like a stacked wall in someone's house. It's just extremely larger as far as the volume of the stones being used.
Do you want to see this?
Sure, thank you.
If you go to the back of the report, there's large color photos, and you can see the area.
Okay.
I apologize for not bringing.
Yeah, maybe the next time if you do come back, maybe you could bring one large one. It would also be helpful to show the the public audience, both
Absolutely.
here and at home. And they are great pictures. So.
Thank you.
Wonderful. Any other questions for Brian?
No, I think what you're asking us to what are you asking us to do tonight to help this go forward?
To pretty much almost just give your blessing on the procedure we've taken so far, and moving forward, what we'd like to do now is use this plan to advertise and get this plan out in some qualified contractors' hands. Allow them to come back with completed bid forms. From there, we'll have all the numbers. There's always questions the contractors ask that are great, that help us maybe tweak a particular detail, because they're the ones actually building it. I'm doing two-dimensional in an office. So we're also only going to better the plan. I come back to you guys with numbers and names and say, this is what we have here. This is who we want to use. This is who we recommend. And then, you guys look at the numbers. And then from there we can select someone and we can set up the construction timeline. So really from here I'm just looking for authorization to have a formal advertisement for bid. And next time you see me I should have some numbers for you guys.
Wonderful.
Sounds good.
Other questions, comments?
Do we need a formal vote for that, or?
I don't think so, do we? Just, I think it's more of a presentation than else.
Yep.
Thanks so
Okay.
much. Thank you, Brian.
Thank you.
So we're going to go forward with this, right?
Well, the RFP.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this is happening now in February 8th. They're looking to put this out.
Yeah.
That's when it announced.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it's an RFP, so we don't have, once the bids come in, if they're too expensive,
Right. So this is going forward now, so we got to keep in mind that, come the February meeting is when we're going to, we'd be prepared to act on something. Thank you.
Good.
Will he be here then to guide us at the February meeting?
I don't think that, he said it was going to go out in March.
Yeah, what?
Did he say March? Say March.
Brian, you could just, was it going out March 8th or February 8th?
What's the next one?
The RFP.
The RFP.
We'd like to advertise February 8th.
To advertise, and when would you expect to get responses?
The end of February.
Okay. So this would be something we,
No, I'm sorry. We want that the pre-bid meeting the last day of February. We advertise on February 8th. We can then open bids March 8th. And I believe March 8th will fall before the March meeting.
right. So we'd expect to see you back here again in March.
Yes.
Right.
Wonderful.
All right.
Okay, thanks very much. Yep.
Very good.
Good. Well, Mr. Vitagliano, I understand you have a presentation as well. I'm very much looking forward to it. Could you just state your name and address for the record?
Daniel Vitagliano, 27 Elizabeth Street, Portchester.
Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Daniel Vitagliano. I'm a member of Portchester's Troop 6. Vincent Lyons is my Scoutmaster, and Linda Lyons is my Eagle Scout Advisor. As of last week, I met with the Eagle Scout Advancement Committee. They have asked for me to present my project to you for your formal approval. I have met with the Ad Hoc Committee, and I will be working with them. They have reviewed what I have proposed, and they have approved it. Here's what I plan to do. I propose to help revitalize the Rye Town African American Cemetery. The cemetery is a 1-acre piece of land adjacent to I-95 in the Greenwood Union Cemetery. Of the 119 persons buried in there, 22 are war veterans. I have lists of compiled information of all known burials in the cemetery.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Despite many recognitions by the New York State Register of Historical Places, the National Register of Historical Places, and the Westchester County African American Heritage Trail, the cemetery has remained largely unknown to the public. The beneficiaries of my project include the Rye Town community, its government and leaders, and its residents, as well as relatives of individuals buried in the cemetery. In addition, because of the 22 veterans buried in the cemetery, other veterans will share in the respect and honor this project will create. Through research, as well as preparing a cemetery map/diagram, visitors of the cemetery will more easily be able to tour the cemetery or visit specific grave sites. By posting research information on the Town of Rye website, relatives of the individuals buried there will have better access to important records and information of the deceased. This will make it easier for African American families to complete family history. In addition, I hope that some of the information developed will lead to a more accurate portrayal of the contributions of the African Americans to the Rye Town community. There are no official records showing how plots were laid out or who was actually buried in the cemetery. Historians believe that the cemetery contains remains of more than the 119 people identified. I am hopeful that the research may help identify others currently unknown that are buried there. Part of the research for my project will be conducting library research to locate information from different obituaries in the past. And using volunteers, also death certificates from Rye Town, Portchester, Rye City, and Mamaroneck will be obtained. And I have different examples of obituaries and death certificates.
Very organized.
Other research will be obtained from military records on certain veterans and on different battalions and different war stories through oral tradition. Many different local churches will be visited for records on individuals buried in the cemetery. I have already had people contact me providing oral history of relatives buried there. I can see how this project can bring the Rye Town community together. After compiling all of the data, I will create a numbered system of all the graves, locate the graves on a diagram of the cemetery, and create a user-friendly interface so that any data collected can be easily accessed. Using donations collected, I hope to create a directory map that will be installed at the cemetery, as well as a brochure with information on buried individuals. Using this, people will easily be able to find the locations of graves they are interested in and obtain background information on the individuals. I would also like to add a web page to the Town of Rye website displaying the diagram of the cemetery's grave locations, the numbered system of individuals buried, and information on buried individuals. I am here to answer any questions or listen to any suggestions. I do need a formal resolution so I can move forward with my project. I look forward to doing research next month for Black History Month. Thank you.
Well, thank you so much for coming to make the presentation. I was at the ceremony and right around Thanksgiving, Saturday after Thanksgiving, in fact. And I know you were there as well. It was absolutely fantastic what you guys have started to do at the park. And I think this project is absolutely spectacular. I don't know if anybody had any questions for Daniel.
Ultimately, we met again this evening at 6 o'clock, our committee, and this is I think it was the third time that we've discussed the process going forward. I know that Daniel needs our approval tonight for his purposes, and a lot of great things are happening, and as Dan will tell you that from our meeting tonight at 6 o'clock, every time we get together and discuss something, there's another question comes up, and the project just keeps expanding. So, thank you.
I have one question. In favor. Would you have any suggestions on what can be done about the headstones that are not visible or legible?
I'm going to be doing different rubbings on the headstones, so if things can't be seen with the human eye, we'll be able to see what's really on it.
I think it's a great project. Thank you for
Any
wanting
other
to do
questions,
this.
comments for Daniel? Well, listen, I can't thank you enough for doing this. It's the big beneficiaries of the Town of Rye and the constituents and the community of the Town of Rye, and I think it's a wonderful Eagle Scout project. Can I get a motion to approve, as I understand, we need a resolution to approve this project, authorizing Daniel to move forward with this wonderful project?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Gelfarb.
Aye.
Mendocino.
Aye.
Nayoris.
Aye.
Villanova.
Yes.
Garvin.
Yes, we have the unanimous support of the board. Thank you so much.
And Daniel, you'll need a letter from the supervisor, correct?
Sign, please.
Yeah,
Okay.
Thank
good.
you very
Thanks so much. Thank you.
Thanks.
Great project. Okay, now we get into much more mundane matters. Resolution, Mr. Noto, you going to walk us through this, or?
Sure. I was advised that the court clerk's office had a part-time position for which they don't have enough work to maintain it, and there was a request made from the judges that the position be abolished. And here's the resolution formally abolishing the position of intermediate part-time clerk.
Questions, comments from the board?
I have to say that I was a little upset by this process because I had to hear from people in the public that this person was let go. And being a board member, I was a little embarrassed not knowing what was going on. I don't know when this was all decided, and we have a resolution before us this evening, and as far as I know, we've already terminated that person before we even voted on this resolution.
Well, actually, what is the legal, I guess the...
Well, I think this came up during the budget, towards
Yeah,
the end of the
the way-
budget process. I
yeah.
think the supervisor met with the judges, but it was done too late for the adoption of the budget. A part-time position is part-time, and they can be terminated at any time. There is no notice requirements, and candidly, you don't have to abolish this position, but I
Because I guess there's 2
was
points.
asked for a resolution.
If you remember the budget discussions we had on that Saturday,
Absolutely.
there was a lot of question as to what the needs of, we did an exhaustive review of the needs of each department, including the courts, and if you remember, the judges were out, it was the holiday season, and they were out, I think one of the judges was ringing the bell, volunteering for the community, he couldn't make it, so we had a subsequent meeting. There was no intent to, keep you out of the loop, or anybody out of the loop, for that matter. So we had, as it happened, we had a subsequent meeting with the judges, and they made a determination, as Attorney Noto said, that they didn't have sufficient workflow to justify the
I don't have a
position.
problem with any of that. My thing is that I made myself available to come to that meeting on Saturday, and I would have made myself available to come to an additional meeting if need be with the judges, unless, of course, it was a last-minute thing, which is fine. And I just would you send emails out every day about all different sorts of things. Someone could have just shot me an email, this is what happened, this is what we decided, so that I wasn't caught off guard and look.
Yeah. No, that's fair. I apologize. No one, the whole of the board was in the same situation you are. When no one else in the board was in a different situation, and I need to take the blame for that. Again, it's just the way things happened. The real concern was to, we're always reviewing positions, and it was, the judges made a determination that the workflow wasn't there. If you remember, what we did is we had 2 part-time people, and one of the part-time persons became full-time last year, I think it was, once they passed the civil service exam.
2 years ago.
2 years ago. And so, as we were looking at it, the workflow was coming down. So I apologize for not. I should have given you a heads up. I didn't think to do that.
No problem.
So now So we're now formalizing that decision in terms of eliminating the actual
Right,
position.
the judges feel there's no need to even have the position in the budget.
Right.
Asking it be abolished.
So that
At the request of the judge, I
motion to eliminate the
make a
position.
motion to eliminate the position.
And actually, let me say also, by it's always difficult to let someone go. And the person who fulfilled the position, did a terrific job. And it had absolutely nothing to do with that person. It had to do with the lack of work. She was a good contributor to the town. It's just in this difficult economic environment, there really wasn't enough work to justify the position. So it had absolutely nothing to do with the person involved.
So if we abolish the position totally, then what happens if in the future we decide that
Scott?
we,
Well, the judges will have to then request, to come back to us and say, look, we need to have this
well, is it
position.
necessary to abolish the position totally, or?
It is not.
Well, why keep it if we're not, I mean, there's no intention at this point to, I'm sort of like, well, there's no intention to keep it, I don't, in
For some
terms
reason,
of,
I think the judges felt more comfortable for you to abolish the position, but it is not a legal requirement. The person filling the position, you can hire and fire part-time people at your will.
At the request of the judges, I'd like to make a motion that we adopt this resolution.
second?
Second.
Gelfarb,
Aye.
Mendocino,
No.
Nyworth,
Aye.
Villanova,
Yes.
Carden.
Yes. And again, Councilwoman, see, I apologize for, I should have.
No, that's fine, I just wanted to,
Sure.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, next one's mine.
Quiet title, yeah.
Yeah, this is a
Quiet
313
title, that's an
Locust.
unusual, what does that mean exactly?
What?
Quiet title.
Well, what it means is that we're asking a judge to make a determination that there are no potential heirs or owners of this property, and they are essentially certifying title in the town of Rye. What happened was, 313 Locust was one of our 2009 in rems. It actually, we had received a letter from the church indicating that they essentially were relinquishing title because they couldn't afford the upkeep on the property and they couldn't pay the taxes. So it was an uncontested in rem in 2009. And we went through the process, and I think as I explained, there was an estate of Warren and Scott. It goes back, probably 100 years. And we went through the process of in rem. We took title and sold it at the auction. We had a successful bidder. His title company got involved, said they wouldn't give him title insurance, which is, by the way, not a requirement of the in rem sale. So, but as you know, there's a 2-year window in which title companies don't insure anyway. So, but they had raised this issue about the unknown heirs of Warren Scott who were not noticed in the in rem petition. So I went back to my title company and I had them review it, and I said, is there any merit to this? And they said, in fact, yes. Their underwriter indicated that the only way they would ever get title insurance was if the town brought an action to quiet title, which is their recommendation to me. On that basis, I felt the right thing to do was to terminate the sale because he does want his money refunded. He doesn't want to buy the property now, and I will bring the action to quiet title. Once we get that, then we will re-auction the property. And in order to do that, I need your authorization.
Perfect. Questions, comments?
So moved.
Is there a cost to do a quiet title?
The only cost is the filing fees.
Just the filing?
There's no cost. I mean, there's no
It's
legal
included in your
Yeah, it's included in my little in rem fee. But there is a filing fee of, I think, about $250. And there will be an additional fee of publication, because I'm going to have to get permission from the court to serve by publication, meaning we're going to have to publish the summons and complaint in whatever newspaper for 3 or 4 weeks, and that'll be an additional fee. Other than that, no.
Okay.
So moved.
Second?
second.
Gelfarb,
Aye.
Mendocino,
Aye.
Nyworth,
Aye.
Villanova,
Yes.
Carden.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, the next one is issue near and dear to my heart that
Yes.
you take us through, Mr. Noto,
Right,
but
this,
just before, let me make my political plug if I could. Sorry, but one of our campaign promises was to look to fundamentally change the tax dynamic in the town of Rye. And I'm thrilled that we successfully secured a grant from New York State of $50,000 to study the elimination of the town of Rye. So now Mr. Noto is very artfully executing on this endeavor, and the resolution tonight is to try and approve moving forward as the intermunicipal agreement and moving forward with this project. So, Mr. Noto.
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. As you pointed out, there have been a number of meetings between the supervisor, the mayor of Red Brook, the mayor of Portchester, and the mayor of Mamaroneck over the last 2 years. The 4 of them reached an agreement whereby they would apply for a grant from New York State to study the potential dissolution of the town and also to look for ways to provide efficient municipal services and